Hi students, welcome to the class. In this class, I am going to discuss an unit which is from your HS first course, and that will be the first unit of the chemistry, and which is known as some basic concept of chemistry. Okay, it is our unit number 1, some basic concepts of chemistry. Okay, if you ask me that why this is known as some basic concept, because once we get to know the things from this particular unit, which will help us to understood the thing which is in our progressive next units. Okay, so there are some points, so there are some topics which we have to know initially to know the chemistry better for our later journeys. Okay, so that's why this unit is referred as some basic concept of chemistry. Okay students, now basically in the first section of this unit we have to discuss what exactly the chemistry is and how it's related to our daily life and all that. Okay, now the thing is that the chemistry is the science of molecules and their transformation. Okay, it is known as the chemistry of molecule or atoms or molecule, and it deals with the transformation of those atoms and molecules, and it deals with the study of composition, okay, or you can say the structure and properties of matter which we're having in our surrounding. Okay, so that's why the chemistry is also known as science of atoms and molecules. Clear? Now, if you look at the importance of chemistry in our daily life, it has numerous, effect in our daily life, means in a positive way, what I'm supposed to say. Like the clothes which we are wearing, right, of different color, which is known as a dye, so it helps chemistry. The biochemical processes which taking place inside the food which we are having and getting digested, right, all this involves chemistry, right. The chemistry involves in our nature also, the photosynthesis process, in everywhere the chemistry is involved. Okay, and it correlates with the other branches of science like your physics, okay, biology, zoology and all that. It related to that. That means what? Without chemistry, what we can say, there is no existence of life, because the biochemical processes which involves inside the body, in the human or animal, or you can say the plant body, it's all about what call your chemistry. And if you look at the another point of chemistry, then we will see that whatever the things we're using in our daily life, see from your medical purposes to cosmetic, right, all these things are possible only because of what call our chemistry. So what we can say that the chemistry plays a vital role in our life, or to exist the life in our earth. Okay, so I hope you guys understood those things, right? Now let's proceed to the main portion or the main topic of this particular unit. Here we're asked initially to discuss a topic which is known as what call your matter. Okay, matter. Now if you look at the concept of matter, so what we can say that anything which has what call your particular mass, okay, and which occupies some spaces, all these things are known as what call your matter. Suppose if I say that I am having an piece of stone, consider piece of stone, and if I place it, so it will have a mass, right? Or if I place it in a surface, then what? It will occupy this much of volume, right? So this stone will be pronounced as what call your matter. Okay guys, so now what we have to do is that we have to go for the classification of this matter. So what I have told regarding matter is that anything which has a mass and which occupies volume, they are known as what call your matter. Now we are asked to discuss the classification of matter, and if you look at the classification of matter, they can be divided into two categories, as your physical classification and as call your chemical classification. Okay, if you look after the classification of matter, then what I'm saying that they can be classified as in terms of what call your physical property and in terms of what call your chemical property. Clear? If we look at the physical classification of matter, generally we are having five different states of matter. Okay, and here among five we are supposed to discuss only three in our HS course. Now, if you look at the five classification of matter, then you will see that one is known as solid, another one is known as called your liquid, and another one is called your gas, and the last two is known as plasma, and another one is your Bose-Einstein condensed state. Okay, and this, regarding this 2 points, you have got these things in your class 9 also, isn't it? All these five different classification were in your class 9. Now what we do is that, you know, we will discuss these three different states of matter in this particular class. Okay, what they are, how they are classifying, or what are the basis of classifying, and all that. Then we will go through what call your chemical classification. Okay, students, so let us discuss the physical classification of matter. Okay, it's what call your physical classification of matter. Okay, physical classification of matter. Now look, one thing, you know what, matters are, you know, made up of small particles. Okay, they are what, made up of particles. They are made up of particles. Now what, look, that means what, whether it is solid, liquid, or they are gas, isn't all they are made up of particle, right? Then what is the difference that, or what is the basis that we have divided them as solid, liquid and gas? Isn't this the question for you in your mind, right? Now consider, I am writing, say this is a particle. Now what says, you know, the physical classification of matter, as they all are made up of particle, the basis of the classification is the intermolecular attraction between the particle. Okay, that is the basis in this case. Okay, which I mean to say that, you know what, when it is in solid, consider this is in solid, what says, you know, and one more thing, it is what I'm saying, that first one is your what, intermolecular attraction between the particles, right? And the another point is what you can say, the arrangement. Okay, arrangement of particles. Now if you look at the intermolecular attraction, that point, then what you will see that the difference is that, you know what, if I'm saying this is solid, so here I will have, you know, numbers of particles, and all those particles are what, held together, means they are joined together like this. Okay, in case of liquid, what happens is that, you know, the particles stay apart from each other, maintaining a particular gap, and here, you know, it says the particles are what, randomly distributed here and there, which means to say that if you look at the intermolecular force of attraction prospect, then you will see that here, you know, in case of solid, the intermolecular forces between the particle are greater, so that's why, you know, they gets attached together. Here the force is little bit less than what call your solid. Okay, so they are maintaining a gap between them, but they are having what, intermolecular forces of attraction like this. But here, you know, no intermolecular force of attraction, so this why each and every particle are free to move. Okay, they are randomly distributed, they are moving here and there. Okay, so this is the basis how we divide the solid, liquid and gas. Okay, now what, due to this intermolecular forces of attraction between the particle and the arrangement of the particle, we are having some different properties of matter. Okay, and we will discuss these things now one by one. Now what says, you know what, consider this is the arrangement of the particle. Consider I am having these 4 fingers, right? Now this is attached together, isn't it? This is attached together. Now what, in case of solid also it happened the same thing, but it is only one dimensional. If you consider this, right, or one more layer here, then this particle, as they are joined, these particles are what? They are not free to move, right? They are not allowed to move anywhere. So this happens in case of, you know what? Solid state. So that's why, you know, they are having a particular shape and size, they are having particular volume, okay? And so this is happens in case of solid states. But in case of liquid, what, you know what? As they are maintaining a gap, so what? They don't have what to say, the particular shape. You know, they don't have particular shape, and it says that, you know, they give the shape of the container where they are placed, okay? But they are having particular volume. And in case of gas, you know, they don't have any particular volume or size or shape or anything, okay? Because the particles are randomly distributed. If you look at the volume concept, you know what? It says that they are having negligible volume. Means we don't say that they have a particular volume, which I mean to say. You know what? Because if you look at the, suppose we have kept some gas particle here. Now if you ask me that whether this particle have consume all the volume of this container, in simple English I will say no. Why? If you ask me, because if you look at the gap between the particle in the gas, you know what, this is negligible. Whatever the volume contained by this particle, it is negligible with the comparison of the gap between them. You know what says that? Suppose consider there are two particles, these are the two particles. If you combine the volume of these two, it will be negligible in comparison to the free space of the between the particle. So that's why we are saying what? They are not having any specific volume. Clear, guys? So try to go through these things. Okay. Now students, we will go through a simple topic of this particular solid, liquid and gas. What says, you know, this solid, liquid and gas, these three states of matter, they are what? Interconvertible in nature. Interconvertible in nature. That means what? We can transform one form of matter to the another one. Suppose if I am having solid, I can convert it into what? Liquid. Or liquid can also be converted to what? Solid. Or when I am converting this liquid to gas, or I can convert the gas to what call your liquid form. Okay, students. Now, you know, what are the factors that affect this transformation, right? What are the factors? You know, there are two factors. If you look at the forward one, so what you have to do? You just have to heat it. That means what? Temperature. And you have to cool it, okay? When you are coming backward again, and you have to apply some pressure on it, okay? So the factor what you can say is what? Your temperature and what? The pressure, right? If you look at the forward transformation, which means say simply from solid to liquid and liquid to gas, okay, then you will see that we just have to heat them. Now let's go through the main concept of it. Look at it. In solid state, we are saying that the particles are held closely together, means they are attached, and we are saying that here the particles are maintaining a gap between them, and here saying they are what? Randomly distributed. Now, once we start heating, what happens? Consider there are two particles. Once we start heating, whatever the attraction between the two particles, it starts breaking down, right? So we have to convert it into liquid, where they are having what? Minimum attraction between them. So we have to apply what? A little amount of temperature to convert solid into liquid. And what happens? That temperature will what? Break the intermolecular forces of attraction to a certain extent and convert it into liquid. And in case of gas, what we have to get? We have to get no attraction between the particles. So what will we do? Whatever the attraction between the particle in the liquid, we have to heat it more, right? And they become what? Completely free. Once the attraction break down, it will become completely free and it converted to what call your gaseous state. Clear, guys? So it's the simple transformation. We just have to apply the temperature and it will convert it conjugatively from solid, liquid to what call your gas. Okay. Now if you come backward, look, if you come backward, from gas to liquid or from liquid to solid, then what we have to do? Look, consider this is the gas particle, right? So here is no more attraction between the gas particle, but if you have to convert it into liquid, you need some attraction. So what you have to do? You have to cool down first, okay? you have to cool down, here also you have to cool down, and what you have to do is that you have to apply the pressure. What says, because these gas particles are what? Highly compressible. We can compress them. Why? Because they're having more free spaces between them, right? So we can compress them easily. Okay, we can compress them easily. So what we have to do? Once the pressure is applied between this gas particle, among this gas particle, so what happens? This gas particle will what? Held close. So it will come here in a certain extent, in a small amount of pressure, and it will convert it to what call your this. And in case of, if you transform from liquid to solid, what you have to get these two particles attached together. That means what? You have to apply more amount of pressure, right? So if you apply more amount of pressure and cool down the thing, then what? It will convert it to solid one. Okay, so that's why, in a word, so these three states of matter are known as interconvertible in nature. That means what? We can transform one form of matter to another one. If you look at the example of this, you will get to know that if we take an ice here, right, or water here, and your water vapor here, consider it is what call your 0 degrees Celsius, isn't it? It is what? Say normal 25 degrees Celsius, and say it is what? Greater than 40. Okay, the temperature is greater than 40 degrees Celsius. Now, when above 40 and all that, so it will convert to vapor. Look, so what we are doing? We are converting from ice to water. That means what? Solid to what? Your liquid form. So we are heating it, right? Temperature increases. If you are converting it from what called water to vapor, which means from liquid to gas, so you are applying more temperature. But if you come backward, what you have to do? You have to just decrease the temperature and you have to apply the pressure. Okay guys, so this is all about the physical classification of matter. Okay, and in next class probably we will discuss the chemical classification of matter. I hope you guys were able to understand those things. Okay, if you are having doubt or understood not properly, you can comment me on the comment section, and if you've gone through this, then please subscribe the channel, share it among your friends, and don't forget to like and comment. Thank you.